Vincent Sinclair checked his watch for the third time in 10 minutes, his patience wearing thin. At 42, he'd built a real estate empire through discipline and emotional detachment. His ex-wife had called him cold, his business partners called him brilliant, and he called himself realistic. Love was a distraction he couldn't afford, which is why he'd resisted when his assistant Emily had insisted on setting up this blind date. "She's perfect for you," Emily had promised. "Give her a chance." So here he sat in an upscale cafe on a Saturday afternoon, wearing his best Navy suit, nursing coffee that had gone cold, and realizing he'd been stood up. Again. The third time in as many months. Vincent pulled out his phone to text Emily that this whole dating experiment was over, that he was done pretending he needed anyone, when a woman's voice drifted across the cafe. "Girls, please sit down. We're waiting for our hot chocolate, remember?" Vincent glanced up to see a woman in her mid-30s standing near a table across from him, trying to wrangle two identical little girls who couldn't have been more than 5 years old. They wore matching red dresses and had light brown hair that caught the afternoon sunlight streaming through the windows. Their mother looked frazzled but patient, carrying what appeared to be bags from several stores. One of the twins spotted Vincent sitting alone and, with the fearless curiosity only children possess, walked directly toward him. Her sister followed immediately, as if connected by an invisible thread. "Why are you sitting by yourself?" the first girl asked, tilting her head to study him with serious blue eyes. "Don't you have any friends?" Vincent felt his carefully maintained composure slip slightly. "I was supposed to meet someone, but they didn't come." "That's mean," the second twin declared, her small face indignant on his behalf. "You got stood up." "That happened to our mommy once. She cried in the bathroom for a whole hour." "Lily Violet, come back here right now," their mother called, hurrying over with an apologetic expression. "I'm so sorry." They're at that age where they have no sense of boundaries. Vincent found himself smiling despite his mood. "It's fine. They're just being honest, which is refreshing." The woman was closer now, and Vincent noticed she was pretty in an understated way, with kind eyes that held both warmth and exhaustion. She wore simple jeans and a soft sweater, her light blonde hair pulled back in a practical ponytail. There was something genuine about her that made the polished, image-conscious women he usually dated seem hollow by comparison. "I'm Rebecca," she said, extending her hand. "And these are my daughters, Lily and Violet. Identical twins who share everything, including an inability to let strangers sit in peace." Vincent Sinclair. He shook her hand, noting the calluses that spoke of hard work rather than manicured leisure. "Wait," Rebecca said, her eyes widening. "Vincent Sinclair? As in Sinclair Properties?" Vincent tensed, waiting for the usual response. Sudden interest, calculation, the shift from genuine to strategic. But Rebecca just nodded thoughtfully. "You own the building where I work, the Harper Medical Center downtown. You renovated it last year, kept all the existing tenants at the same rent. Everyone was so grateful. Most developers would have raised prices or pushed us out." Vincent felt oddly pleased by her observation. It seemed like the right thing to do. "The center serves an important purpose. I'm a pediatric nurse there," Rebecca explained. "We see a lot of families who can barely afford care as it is. If you'd raised the rent, we would have had to increase our fees or shut down. You saved jobs and healthcare access whether you meant to or not." Before Vincent could respond, Lily climbed onto the chair across from him without invitation, her sister following suit. They sat there studying him with the frank assessment only children dare employ. "You look sad," Violet announced. "Even sadder than when we first saw you." "Maybe we should go," Rebecca said, reaching for her daughters. "We've bothered you enough." "No," Vincent heard himself say. "Stay, please. Your daughters are right, I am sad. And somehow their honesty about it makes me feel less alone." Rebecca hesitated, then slowly sat down at his table, pulling the girls closer to her. "We just finished shopping for their birthday party next week." They insisted on matching dresses, as always. "We were going to have hot chocolate before heading home." "Join me," Vincent offered. "I have a table, coffee I'm not drinking, and apparently no other plans." So they stayed, Vincent ordered fresh coffee and hot chocolate with extra whipped cream for the twins. Rebecca protested that it was too much, but he waved away her concerns. Over the next hour, something remarkable happened. Vincent forgot to be guarded. The twins told him elaborate stories about their stuffed animals and their favorite books. Rebecca shared details about her work, her love for helping children, her struggles as a single mother trying to balance everything. She didn't ask about his money or his company. She talked about real things: the difficulty of affording decent childcare, the joy of watching her daughters learn to read, the exhaustion and fulfillment of her job. Their father? Vincent finally asked, then immediately regretted the personal question, but Rebecca answered without defensiveness. He left when he found out I was carrying twins. Said he didn't sign up for that level of responsibility. I haven't heard from him in 5 years. It's just the 3 of us now, Lily and Violet, who'd been drawing on napkins the cafe provided, suddenly looked up at Vincent with matching expressions of determination. That's why Mommy doesn't date, Lily explained seriously. She says men don't want to be with someone who has kids. She says we're enough for her, Violet added. But sometimes I see her looking sad when she thinks we're not watching. Girls, Rebecca said, her cheeks flushing red. That's private, but Vincent felt something shift inside him. This woman who worked long hours as a nurse, who raised 2 children alone, who'd been abandoned by someone who should have stood by her, still managed to be present and loving with her daughters. She hadn't become bitter or hard. She'd become strong. Your mother is wrong about one thing, Vincent said, addressing the twins but looking at Rebecca. Some men would consider it a privilege to be part of your family. The problem isn't that you exist. The problem is that she hasn't met someone worthy of what she has to offer. Rebecca's eyes filled with tears. She quickly blinked away. That's kind of you to say, but you don't know me. You don't know what a mess my life is, how I'm barely keeping everything together. I know you're raising 2 remarkable daughters who have no fear of honest conversation. I know you work in a field that requires compassion and patience. I know you were just stood up for a date, but you're still capable of being kind to a stranger who was also stood up. Vincent surprised himself with his honesty. And I know that in the hour I've spent with you and your daughters, I've felt more genuine connection than in the last year of my life. The twins looked at each other with identical grins. That silent communication Vincent had heard twins possessed. Do you want to come to our birthday party? Lily asked suddenly. We're having cake and games, Violet added eagerly. And Mommy's making pizza? Girls, no, Rebecca protested. Mr. Sinclair is a busy man. He doesn't want to spend his Saturday at a children's birthday party. But Vincent found himself wanting exactly that. What if I do? What if that sounds perfect? Rebecca studied him carefully, looking for the angle, the ulterior motive. Why would you want to come? You don't even know us. Because your daughters interrupted my pity party about being stood up and reminded me that connection matters more than perfection. Because you're real in a way the woman who didn't show up today probably never could be. Because I'd rather spend an afternoon with people who are genuine than another minute with people who are performing. Vincent met her eyes directly. And because I haven't stopped thinking about what Lily said, about you looking sad when you think no one's watching, I'd like to give you a reason to look less sad. Rebecca's lip trembled. I can't afford to let someone into our lives who's going to leave when things get complicated. The girls have been through enough. Then I won't leave when things get complicated, Vincent said simply. I'll stay and figure it out with you. You can't promise that. You don't know what you're saying. Maybe not. But I'd like the chance to try. Vincent pulled out his phone. Give me your number. Let me come to the birthday party. Let's see what happens when 2 people who've been disappointed before decide to be brave enough to try again. The twins cheered before their mother could respond, bouncing in their seats with excitement. Rebecca laughed despite her tears, and Vincent saw the woman beneath the exhaustion, the one who still hoped despite having every reason not to. She gave him her number. The birthday party the following Saturday was held in Rebecca's modest apartment, filled with children and chaos and laughter. Vincent brought elaborate gifts the twins loved and helped Rebecca navigate the madness of entertaining a dozen 5-year-olds. He made pizza alongside her in the tiny kitchen, icing cupcakes that ended up mostly eaten before they could be properly decorated. "You're good at this," Rebecca observed, watching him organize a game that had devolved into happy chaos. "I'm discovering I like it," Vincent admitted. "I spent so many years focused on building things, buying things, achieving things. I forgot about just being present with people. At the end of the party, when the last guest had left and the twins were exhausted and happy, Lily and Violet climbed onto Vincent's lap on the couch. "Are you going to be our friend now?" Violet asked. "I'd like to be more than your friend," Vincent said, looking at Rebecca. "If your mother will let me?" Rebecca sat down beside them, this unlikely family constellation, and took Vincent's hand. "I'm scared." "I'm scared you'll realize this is too much, that we're too much. That single mother with twins isn't what you really want. I was stood up last Saturday because I agreed to a blind date with someone I'd never met. Someone carefully selected to match my income and status and lifestyle. I was miserable. Then your daughters climbed onto my chair and asked me why I was sad, and everything changed." Vincent squeezed her hand gently. "I don't want carefully selected. I want real. I want honest. I want you and Lily and Violet, with all the beautiful complication that entails." The twins looked at their mother expectantly, waiting for her decision. Rebecca looked at this man who'd walked into their lives by accident, who'd shown up when he said he would, who'd spent his Saturday covered in frosting and crayon drawings, and made a choice. "Okay," she whispered. "Let's be brave together." They built something over the following months, slowly and carefully. Vincent learned to navigate the chaos of twin parenting, attending dance recitals and school conferences. Rebecca learned to accept help without seeing it as weakness, to trust that someone could love not despite her responsibilities, but because of the remarkable person those responsibilities had helped her become. 6 months after that first encounter in the cafe, Vincent proposed not with a ring, but with a promise written in crayon by 2 little girls who'd learned to love him as much as he loved them. "Will you be our daddy?" "We promise to share our toys and only wake you up on weekends," Rebecca cried. Vincent cried. The twins cheered. "I was supposed to meet someone that day," Vincent said later, holding Rebecca close while the girls slept in their rooms. "Someone appropriate and convenient and completely wrong for me. Instead, I met a woman who taught me that love isn't about perfection or convenience. It's about showing up, being present, and choosing each other even when it's complicated." The CEO sat alone. Rebecca smiled against his chest. Until twin sisters climbed onto his chair and asked him the question he needed to hear, "Why are you so sad?" "And now I'm not sad anymore," Vincent finished. "Now I'm home. Sometimes disaster is disguise for destiny. Sometimes being stood up means being exactly where you need to be when the right people walk into your life. And sometimes 2 little girls in matching red dresses have the courage to ask the question that changes everything, opening a guarded heart to the possibility that family isn't found in perfection, but in the brave, honest choice to love each other's beautiful, complicated reality. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below about an unexpected moment that changed your life's direction. Your stories inspire us all.